Welcome to another day in the Matrix, waters above crypto. In today's video, we're going to recap how this week has been playing out so far as we've transitioned into the month of March. We'll start this one off with a Gematria decode and then jump into the charts of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. Also, just a reminder, the new month has started on Patreon. If you've been patiently waiting to join, I appreciate your support. You can join by visiting patreon.com/watersabove to sign up for the Mastermind Community membership and get instant access to my exclusive Patreon posts, all of my weekly Red Pill episodes, which are my technical analysis podcast I do every week. You'll also get access to our community Discord group chat, and you'll get live updates to see what I'm personally buying and selling, and you'll also unlock my biggest discounts on my courses. Like I brought up last week, I will be coming out with that exit strategy blueprint very soon, sharing exactly how I plan to exit this market. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria Numerology and Astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out, and make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious beings to help grow this community. And for those of you that want to learn how to do technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, you can join my Mastermind course. The link to my website can be found in the description box of this video and in the pinned comment below for access to the Mastermind course. Like I mentioned, I will be adding that exit strategy blueprint to the Mastermind course, but also I will be selling it as a separate product for those of you out there that just want to have those 15 videos in the exit strategy blueprint because you already own a portfolio, you've been a cryptocurrency investor for a while, you just need a little bit more support in knowing when to take profits, how to de-risk properly, and that is exactly who that is designed for. So those people that already have my Mastermind course, you'll be seeing those exit strategy blueprint videos uploaded to that course as we move on to the next week, and then I will have it as a separate product for everyone out there that just wants those 15 videos. I'll be updating everyone on that in my next video. And with that being said, let's take the red pill. So I'd like to start this one out today just by doing a quick recap on the last video I put out. A lot has happened in this market since that last video. Watched Bitcoin absolutely just, go up in a straight line in a single day to finish off the month of February. It was pretty amazing to see how that all came and went just because of the narrative at the time. Again, there was geopolitical news. There was a lot of fear being injected in the market. And when that fear enters the narrative, smart investors go the opposite way. We've been here before. We see how this game works. And those of you that have been following up on my channel, you knew that this time frame was going to be bullish because we've been sharing the code, we've been sharing the patterns. This market runs on Gematria Numerology Astrology, not on news. News is the broken compass, north, east, west, south. We've talked about this so many times, and now we've seen it happen. Just over the last year of me doing this channel, it's been mind-blowing how many times that news has taken over people's choices and decisions and emotions in this market, and we've been calmly executing just time and time again, being able to be prepared and calm throughout all this chaos, and it always goes the opposite of the way they're projecting that narrative, and this was no different. So here we are, March 2nd. Big connection here was the 47. That 47 comes back to silver. Silver is the 47th element on the periodic table. Silver ties to the moon, and today is the new moon. And we saw Bitcoin jumping around a lot. We saw it at 43,000, jumped up to about 45,000 shortly after the stock market opened up. Now we're seeing it, kind of fluctuate around 44K. It's a lot of volatility today, and that's expected because the stock market is absolutely taking on this sort of narrative of fear, and we're seeing that happen in oil prices. In the DXY dollar US dollar currency index has been definitely showing a projection to the upside. Saw oil break $100 a barrel, crude. And, this is just kind of the environment that we get during Shemitah. Whenever we're in this 7th-year cycle, which we're currently in right now, we see what it does to this market. It is no different this time than it was all the other times. So when I came out and exposed this all the way back in April and May of last year to expect turning into September of 2021, we're going to start seeing lots of narratives, lots of, just like psyops all over the place, and the market is going to be behave very sporadically, very unpredictable, and this has everything to do with this sabbatical year that we're currently in. So again, this date numerology, standard date numerology of 11, is definitely something to pay attention to. That's all about new beginnings, the master number 11. And restarts, okay? So then we're going to transition into tomorrow. This was the bigger connection that I was making. Tomorrow being the 3-3 date, and you could see it leaves 303 days left in the year. In the rules of numerology, you're going to remove that 0, again, bringing you back to 33. And when you take this date and bring it back and measure it to the last Hanukkah, this is the first day of Hanukkah, and those of you that have been watching my work, you know that I always use the Hebrew calendar and the big holidays, the big dates in the Hebrew calendar as something to sort of reference when it comes to measuring dates, because the Hebrew calendar is what's most important here when it deals with finances, the way the cryptocurrency market behaves, the economy, etc. So with this connection, we have the 3-3, March 3rd, 303 days left in the year, tying back to the first day of Hanukkah being 3 months and 3 days. And this day, the first day of Hanukkah, left 33 days left in the year. And it was the transition date into the 333 day of the year. You can see right there. So this is all threes. It's absolutely mind-blowing to see how this all connects. Okay? 33 once, 33 twice, 33 3 times, and 33 4 times, all just with 2 dates, one connection, okay? So when you're doing your decodes, this is how you do it. But what I like to do is take all these numerological significant dates and bring it into the Gematria. So that's what I did as one extra layer. And what this is doing is this total amount of days equals 95. And this 95 connection comes back to ethereum in Gematria. We have that 95. And why this is so important as well is because this 33 and 95 connection, again, there's 433 connections within just these 2 dates, being 95 total days, but this was all about the 33. And ethereum equals 95, and the ticker symbol of ethereum is ETH, and that equals 33. And what's so massive about all of this as well is you see the date numerology of this day. It is the 48 and the 12. Well, that is also ETH, 48 and 12. This can't be any more comprehensive, okay? This is so many connections here by the code. So ethereum, again, is the upper air that the gods breathe, ether. But this also comes back to the ethereum crystal. This is something that's very important. Go check out the flag of Antarctica, and you're going to see the ethereum crystal is the logo. The ethereum crystal is within the tree of knowledge, and this is all kind of very deep. You know, I've actually done a full-blown live stream talking about this before. But anyways, this connection to the 33 and then ethereum with that 95, I see that there's a possibility that tomorrow is going to be a big day for crypto. Again, however this comes to fruition, we'll see. And one other big connection with this 48 and 12, it comes back to Luna. All right. And remember, I brought this up in my last video, and Terra Luna has been on a tear since I released that last video. And I talked about Terra Luna, and we're seeing it getting this kind of play up from just like a retest of prior all-time highs. So that's pretty amazing. And I'm going to share some more information about Terra Luna in a minute and bringing it back to the mythologies, because that's what I always do. I always bring back everything that's happening in this cryptocurrency market to the astrology, which ties back to the mythologies. That's what makes this work so unique, and that's what makes it work so well. It's because it has rhyme and reason behind the decodes. It's not just typing in stuff to a calculator and hoping for the best, you know? So let's get a little bit deeper in here. One last thing I also mentioned in my video that I released yesterday or a couple days ago was March 7th. Now, this day of March 7th I felt was significant because we were tying it back to this 187 code. And I was saying that I would not be surprised if we saw a celebrity or somebody very famous on the world stage die this day. March 7th. And again, this will be a transition date. So if it's March 6th in the United States of America, then it's March 7th in Australia and New Zealand. So I would give it a window, sometime between March 6th to March 8th. Give it that little window. I would not be surprised if we saw someone famous on the world stage get taken out. And let me just quickly recap the code for anyone who's new here and didn't watch my last video. But definitely go back and watch that last video because it broke down even more stuff than this. So anyways, this day of March 7th is the 66th day of this current year. And why is that important? Because 222 is 6. 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. So we know this entire year is going to be ritualized around the sixes. And the number 666 is huge, okay? Again, that comes back to carbon. 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. The 6 is powerful. So with that being said, this being the 66th day of the year, and I was tying it back to 6 days before Rosh Hashana, okay? Because everything kind of starts, the genesis of the energy of what's moving forward comes back to Rosh Hashana. So any connections that I can make off of the date of the start of Shemitah, which was the 7th of September in 2021, those will be way more powerful than comparing it off of January 1st, like people typically do. So this bigger connection here is massive. This day was Rosh Hashana, the 7th, and if I go 6 days back, you're going to get at the 1st of September. This is 6 months and 6 days. So we have 6 months and 6 days connecting to March 7th, which is the 66th day of the year. And the total amount of days is 187. Okay, 187 is the murder code. All right. So I would not be surprised, again, if this date becomes something. And one more extra layer, 1 plus 8 plus 7 equals 16. And the date numerology of March 7th is 16, the standard date numerology, where you don't add double digits and you don't include the zeros. This is before reduction, of course. So this 16 is absolutely important because 1 plus 6 comes back to 7, and March 7th is actually the true 7th day of the year when you're looking at the year logically, not based off of the Gregorian system, which is essentially just a scam. And Shemitah started on the 7th day of September. Again, September, Sept, is the 7th month, the true 7th month of the year. And Shemitah, this day, is the 7-year cycle. This is all about those sevens. And remember, this 181 connection is also big because this day is the start of Shemitah. This is the date that I was telling you is a potential day for a ritual. And that 181 is the 42nd prime number. Okay, that 42, again, I shared in my last video. I don't want to get into that too deep, but something to consider. You know, also one more connection with the 181, it comes back to Satoshi Nakamoto, and I'm going to show you another connection to be made with that 55, and this will be the next day that I'm keeping an eye on. It's going to be March 10th, okay? This is the next day I'm thinking about. I know it's like a full kind of week away, and that's completely fine. I like to prepare you guys the best I can. And the reason why I'm considering this day is because it's the 55 date numerology, right? Coming back to Satoshi Nakamoto with that 55. And I have a big connection here, okay? This will be the 69th day of the year, and Bitcoin's all-time high is $69,000. And we know that 69 comes back to Saturn. Saturn, 69. And Satoshi Nakamoto is Saturn. So let me tie back where this gets even deeper. 2022 was Pluto's return, and we know that 55 also shows up in Pluto's return. 55 in the same exact cipher. They actually match in full reduction and Chaldean between Satoshi Nakamoto and Pluto's return. This will be the 55 date numerology. And why this is so massive is if you look at the comparison, the measurement between 222 and this day of March 10th, it will be 2 weeks and 2 days. Again, coming back to the 22. And we're in the 22 year. And we're also in the Hebrew year of 5782, which reduces down to 22. It's all about the twos, right? This particular year, it's a massive connection. So this day is something where I anticipate something to happen. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's the day where like our full moon energy starts to kick in. Maybe we get early full moon energy where the bearish energy we get in the market typically happens around the full moon. Maybe March 10th is kind of like the day where we stop moving up, have a little bit of a pause, come down a little bit, and then kind of continue into the end of March. Suspect we'll be bullish into the close of March because the new moon is on April 1st, the first day of April. So we're always bullish around that that new moon, just like we are today. We saw that we went from like 40 or 34k Bitcoin to 43k Bitcoin in like 4 days. And why does that 43 number matter so much? Why has that been the local resistance for Bitcoin? It comes back to the recent Super Bowl. And I was telling you, everything has to deal with these big exoteric things that are going on in the world stage, and you find the esoteric quality within it. So it was Super Bowl LVI, which is 43, and Bitcoin has been struggling around that 43, 44K area. Super Bowl LVI, 43, happened on the 44th day of the year. The total score between both teams was 43. All right. So it's very important that we look at this event. It's not something we needed to pay attention to. We just have to take the keywords and decode it effectively. And who won? The Rams. Okay. And LVI 43 is the 14th prime number, and RAM equals 14 in full reduction. LA Rams equals 14 in Chaldean. And this number is massive. So this is something that I'm keeping in the back of my mind. Remember, the ram horn is what is blown in Judaism. That's symbology, okay? No wonder the Rams won in the year of Shemitah. It was a Jewish ritual, guys. And I'm not talking about low level. I'm not talking about just average people who practice Judaism. That's never what I'm talking about. I'm talking about at the hierarchy. The Talmudic Jews who are Kabbalists, the Kabbalists who are practicing with the Jesuit order at the highest levels, operating with the monetary system out of the city of London, which is the Rothschilds banking cabal. And then that all ties in through what's going on in Washington, D.C. They're smuggling money through Switzerland, calling it a neutral country. And now you're seeing all these narratives at play between Russia, and you will see China step in, and of course, Ukraine. This is all tied to the code, all right? Ukraine, 22. It's happening in the 22 year. Also, we got that 47. That's the 15th prime number. All right. That 15 comes back to Tiger. All right. 15. So it's showing itself now pretty obviously. All right. And remember, we had that 59 connection that I was showing you guys the other day. There could be something to be said about this upcoming date right here as well, the 14th of March, because it's the 314 day, which is pi. 3.14, and we have the 59 date numerology. Okay, it's big, guys, because we're also getting that 14 connection too. So it's a 14 and then that tiger coming back to that 15. Big connections. So there's so much that's going to happen in March, because March is Mars, and Mars is the god of war, and Aries is tied to the ram. And who won the Super Bowl? The Rams. So this whole month is going to be ritualized. When did the C word happen? In March of 2020. 2020 is the 2-2. 2020. You remove the zeros, you come back to 22. Just like this year, 5782 is the 22. It's all tied together. March is a very ritualized month for the elite. Okay? So we got even more connections coming, guys. I mean, I could do this all day. Let's get into some final ones before this video gets too long. So remember that 69 connection that I was telling you about this day, the 69th day of the year, March 10th. That's a day that I'm keeping my eyes on. Also, if we take from this day to the last eclipse, which was December 4th of 2021, and we know the eclipse is a huge ritual for these people who are running this planet, and that 9669 connection is something I'm considering. So it's the 69th day of the year, and if you take from the last eclipse we had on December 4th 2021, it's 96 days. Again, 69 is the mirror of 96, as above so below. We know that's important. And if you look at another big connection here, it'll be 3 months and 6 days. And that 36, again, it ties back to Bitcoin. 36, it ties back to Ethereum. 36, and it also, these two are also tying back to Jupiter. That's where the origin of all of this comes back. And Jupiter is the tiger, the striped planet. We're in the year of the tiger. Okay? So this is all definitely a big connection that we'll have to consider. And we're coming up on March 6th, which will be the 3-6. Okay? Again, with that 15 date numerology. It's absolutely amazing once you see this all playing itself out. I would not be surprised with these Jupiter connections if we have something dealing with bullish quality, actually, because I think we had our initial year of the tiger negative aspects. Everything that was connected to the tiger was negative. I think now we're shifting where we're going to get the good luck side of Jupiter, where it's a good luck aspect. It's a positive aspect. And that's because of some conjunctions we've had some deeper astrological connections, but moreover, I'm just playing this by the code, and I think this is bull mode right now. That's kind of like what we're in, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this plays out. So, one last connection. Remember, I was telling you guys about Luna. And let's just go to the 48 date numerology, which will be tomorrow, the 3-3 date. And we can see that's 48 and 12. And we have Luna right here, again, with that 48 and 12 connection. And we got that 15 comes back to the tiger. But this is really interesting because we're seeing Luna since my last video that I put out pretty much on a tear, but it's seeing a $95 to $97 resistance. And that 95 to 97 is not weird to me because this comes back to the mythologies. Okay, we have Neptune giving us 95. That also has a connection to ethereum, like I showed you a little bit earlier, 95. And remember, the amount of days in between these events is 95. Again, Luna is hitting $95. This comes back to Neptune, who is also Poseidon. And might not spell this right. It's completely okay. It's all the same. You're getting 97. Okay, so Poseidon giving you 97, and that was today's recent price that we hit, $97. And of course, Neptune, Poseidon, is the god of the waters, and all the tides are married to the moon. The moon is Luna, but this is Terra Luna, which is the Earth moon. Okay, Terra is Mother Earth. All right. Another thing about Poseidon is this 97 is the 25th prime. And we also have 43. 43 is the 14th prime. All right. And why this is so important is 43, the 14th prime. Terra is 14 in Chaldean. All right. And Earth equals 25, like I just showed you before, with that 97 being the 25th prime. 97, 25th prime. So this is all tied into the Earth of the moon, this whatever that thing is, plasma ball. Nobody really knows. It's quite interesting. I don't really want to talk about that kind of stuff right now because it's not relevant. But Poseidon being the god of the waters, the tides, and how this is all tied into what's going on here. Pretty interesting to see how Luna has been raging to the upside. And again, I would not be surprised if Luna does double top or possibly hits $110, and the connection of 110 just comes back to Terra Luna with 110. Again, that'll be the 11. This isn't surprising to me that we're getting on the 1-1 date moving in today. We're at the 11 date numerology, and Terra Luna is giving us the 110, which is just the 11 master number. And again, we're hitting that 95, 97 price target, all tied back to King of the Waters. So lots of decoding information for today's video. Let's move into some of the TA. What a wacky market. Last couple days, we've been seeing the Dow Jones and the major indices just getting chopped up. I mean, we saw DXY continuing on its breakout. We've also seen oil. Wow. I mean, I think we saw a $111 oil today. So that's a little bit drastic. You know, we hit the 111. That's not weird that we hit the 111, and we're looking right now to do some sort of weird doji pattern potentially. I mean, we still have a lot of hours to go in the day on crude, but that 111, I always think about coming back to New York with that 111. So we need to see how this goes. I mean, oil, oh, well, there you go. U.S. oil giving us the 22. We're in the 22 year. So I'm not going to decode this right now, but it's pretty amazing how this has started its breakout exactly around the time frame of which I thought. And I suspect the next big layer we're going to hit is the 786 fib, which will be the $115 price target. I brought this up so long ago to expect oil to continue to get pricier and pricier and pricier, because it's not even part of the inflation metrics according to the central bank and the Federal Reserve System. They just consider, you know, the most unnecessary things to be part of their inflation metrics, whilst oil, energy, and food are not included. Totally makes sense. The things we need to survive, just don't include them in your inflation metrics. Totally sensible. Anyways, so this is pretty interesting. Also, the yield definitely recovering a little bit. Got massively hit the other day. So let's get into the Bitcoin TA. we're seeing a couple good things form. First of all, we have this firmament dome. We talked about this in the last video. It started to break out during the video, but we actually got a clear solidified daily close above this firmament level and above the 382 fib, and we're also seeing it interact with the prior highs of last month. That was really quick though, so we need to cool down. We need to chill out a little bit, and we're definitely seeing how this is playing out right now. A little bit of a slowdown, a little bit of a, kind of let's catch this market up, because if it just moves up in a straight line, RSI gets overheated, and smart traders start to close positions. That's just the way it works. So what's happening right now is definitely interesting. We're seeing some support alongside this 382 in the very short term. We're definitely coming up against prior resistance. If we were to break and have daily closes above this level of 45,800, I suspect a continuation up through the 0.5 fib and then probably get into 50K very soon. Very soon, which is a big reason why I'm releasing my exit strategy blueprint as soon as possible, because I think it's going to be, imperative that we take into consideration a bull trap for Bitcoin, because we're in this stage of the run and we've seen a sell-off that's pretty dramatic from the all-time high in a perpetual downtrend. It's kind of the time we anticipate a relief rally, and now we need to be open-minded to how the relief rally will play out. Nobody knows with 100% certainty. Okay, but we have the 2-day closure happen the other day. Clear green candle. I mean, really, really amazing. We saw the 3-day same candle and the 5-day same candle. It was all 3 of those closures happened yesterday. That's why in my last video I said pay attention to March 1st daily close, because it will be the 2-day, 3-day, and 5-day close all together. Getting above that level of the 382 is key, but you can see the resistance is clear as day right there at 44.4, and I brought that level up. I also brought 45K up as a potential touch if we're gonna have a bullish breakout. That's exactly what we did. So that TA turned out very nice. And this is the big W that we were considering all the way since the beginning of February, which has been like a full month now. And we're seeing how clean this W looks. It's a little bit dramatic though. Again, it would be nice to have a couple days chilling at the neckline and then just continue past the full moon. I'll get into time frames as the month progresses. I mean, the month just started, so I don't want to get too specific just yet. But this is really nice. And one thing I got mentioned too about the 5-day is we're starting to get that bullish cross. So the MACD bullish cross, you could see its histogram has flipped green. This is definitely a good sign. So this has been on a perpetual downtrend ever since its cross in November, which was around the last all-time high, and now we're starting to see it tick up. It's in negative territory, and that's nice too, because when it gets into the negative territory, just breaking zero and moving to the upside, it is indicative of a bull trap. So this is nice to see. Also, RSI is looking pretty good. It's around 50. We want to get slightly above 50 to be in bullish control. We're seeing the 3-day definitely starting to get slightly above 50. 3-day MACD is cross bullish. 2-day should obviously be the same. We're clearly above 50 RSI, and then we have MACD bullish. This looks great. Such a good setup, and we have the next 2-day close coming in tomorrow night, so we'll see how that goes. But again, this 2-day getting anywhere over 44.8, it's probably a sign for continuation bullish. Let's look at some of our moving averages, because that's something to consider. I brought this up in my last video. I would like to flip fully bullish once I see all of these EMAs get into bullish posture, which is the 13 EMA above the 21 above the 34. Right now you could still see the 34 is slightly on top, but they're all coiling up together. That's a great sign. That also with a bullish MACD cross on the daily plus 50 RSI or higher on the daily. That's all signs of go long, So now because we just rampaged up in a single daily candle, I do think we need to stall out for a little bit. That would be the more mature move. That would be the more healthy move. So this is great to see. It's really nice to see this all coming into fruition the way that it is. I would love to see more continuation, but for now, let's calm down. Let's back test that 382, have a little pop over 42K, break this level around 45, and then that would be really the signal to get happy. That would get our moving averages a couple days to slowly slope to the upside. And then again, we do have the 200 simple or the 200 exponential moving average within arm's reach. I mean, it's like we almost touched it today. Daily closes above the 200 exponential is a clear sign for continuation to the upside. And then we have that 200 simple at 50K. So, I mean, we're talking about a sneeze away from getting back to 50. So with that being said, downside target in the short term would be 42.5. That would make the most sense. If we were really to have a downtrend for in the micro, I suspect it would be about 41. It would just bounce off of all of these key moving averages. Look at them all coiling up together. And then we also have a bullish, what I like to call a wolf cross coming in very soon. So this wolf cross with the 8 above the 55 simple moving averages with all these other conditions met, full bull. Let's go to Ethereum. Ethereum's looking really good. It's actually trading above the 55 simple moving average on the daily. That's a very good sign. We're also seeing all the other signals, 50 RSI above, MACD bullish. Let's look at the 5-day MACD and see if we're getting anything. Okay, so this is still in a bearish posture, but it's sloping to the upside, curved and bottomed out for sure. 3-day, definitely looking great. We could see in bullish posture, we're looking at about 46 RSI, so we have a little bit to go. Next 3-day close is on March 5th. We'll see how that plays out. Let's look at the daily again, just to look at our EMAs, because that's a key thing to consider. And you could see our EMAs, same story. We do have the 34 at the top, so that's not fully bullish just yet. We need to see that 13 cross above the 34, and then our EMAs will be in bullish posture. And again, I teach all of this in my mastermind course. So for anyone out there that, you're interested in learning more about the machinations of what I'm explaining right now, my mastermind course covers all of this very thoroughly. So this is nice to see. Short-term downside target would be somewhere around 2,800. If we really wanted to go down a little bit more, it would be around this next Fibonacci level, which is 2,700, where we're getting the local resistance now is at a 0.5 fib. So that's key, $3,000. It's a psychological level, and we could see there's a clear downtrend here where we have high, lower, high, lower, high. So breaking this 3,200 level would be the indication of an uptrend continuation. We have a low, higher low, but still on lower highs. Let's go to the XRP chart. XRP just coiling up, looking to make that right shoulder like I talked about in my last video, with the inverse head and shoulders potentially at play. Bitcoin already broke out of its sort of inverse head and shoulders on that 4-hour chart that I was looking into. And now, this is just holding support at the 786, and it's looking for continuation. The same story as ETH. So all of those connections that I was making to Ethereum in regards to tomorrow, those could be at play for XRP. If ETH starts to break out, I do suspect that we'll see XRP doing well, but because this market's moved up too bullish too fast, and you also have to consider we have about 5 days after a new moon for bullish energy, that would put us to about the 7th of March, and that puts us at that key date that I brought up with the potential ritual murder or whatever. Anything could happen, but I showed the code. And that's something to keep in mind. We have probably up till March 7th, as high as March 10th, to see this uptrend continuing. And for the altcoins, it's not going to be as noticeable because the dominance has shifted to Bitcoin. So what we're seeing right now in the XRP and the Ethereum charts is just sort of lagging and catching up because most of the liquidity is in Bitcoin. It's in the process of shifting more towards Bitcoin. And again, that's a good thing. It's a very good thing, because what does that mean? If Bitcoin makes it up into the high 50s, maybe even 60K into the month of April, when it has a liquidity shift or a rotation, where is it going to go? It's going to go into those altcoins, and those suppressed altcoins are going to do really, really well. So all in all, altcoin holders, we're sort of in a good position right now, as long as this uptrend continues for Bitcoin into the mid 50s. So we're lucky because we're early. We're watching this all at play. And what I'm seeing right here is fine. Perfectly fine on XRP. XRP gets dramatic. It just wakes up and starts breaking out randomly. So right now we're kind of structurally pulling off, holding this 76 cent level. Again, 76 does not surprise me because that comes back to Gematria. Oh, that's really funny because US oil equals 76. Look at the code, man, playing. So Ripple equals 76. And remember, I was making those 36 connections before coming back to Jupiter, and Ripple has that 27 in the same cipher as Jupiter has that 27. Okay. So this is, and I remember I said the Jupiter aspects were seeming negative earlier in February when we were just entering the year of the tiger. I suspect we're shifting now to where the Jupiter aspects will become a little bit more positive until the next eclipse. So that's something to keep in mind. And could even be the eclipses after that. I am way more bearish on the eclipses in October and November than I am on the one in May. I'll lay that out now. The one that's in October, November, which I have more content coming for soon on my Patreon, I'm feeling a little bit more bearish about those because it's the end of Shemitah, and the end of Shemitah is when we have all of our financial collapses. So that's not my opinion. That's 100 years of data in the Dow Jones Industrial and also in the S&P charts. You could just prove it for yourself. So anyways, this is looking pretty good. I do hope that we chill out for a couple days. We just let this kind of 44K level for Bitcoin solidify as a new support. Would be nice to see continuation past 45, but this is a little too bullish too soon. It does seem to be kind of counter what's happening in the stock market, but if you pay attention to the stock market the last couple days, they were in the red and crypto was in the green. Now we're seeing the stock market is in the green and crypto is a little bit, sideways, kind of slightly down. It's slight red. Now that's perfectly fine because we've just had a really nice recovery off of those lows that we saw around the last full moon. So let's see how this plays out, everyone. Let's just, be calm. It's great to be calm and patient and see how that type of attitude helps us the best in the day-to-day with this market. So again, new month has started on Patreon. You can join the Mastermind community by visiting patreon.com/watersabove. We have the Mastermind community memberships, $9.99 monthly membership, super cheap, gives you all the access to the content that I've released on my Patreon. Also my red pill episodes, which I do every week. Get signals of whenever I'm buying or selling, just letting everyone know transparently whenever I'm making any buys or sells. And then also you'll be able to have that community Discord access where we have all the wolves hanging out, empowering each other, staying calm, and focusing on what matters most, which is the community. So with that being said, I'm wishing everyone a beautiful rest of your day. Much love.